Alan was providing vision and I was down in the trenches. So if you can imagine the shoestring that we started on hovering on the edge of a cliff, you've got an idea of what the early years felt like to me. My main worry was whether the program would keep going and whether we would be able to do justice to the wonderful students we were able to recruit at the very beginning. But it looks to me as if it worked out. We avoided the disaster. That's my main accomplishment, I guess. The other thing that I think is extremely important about this program and that makes it so different, well, you have to think about artificial intelligence and how challenging it is. I know we're in a period of frenzied optimism at the moment. You can't imagine the expression of joy on one of your colleagues who has been aware of the fact that what they're doing is not at all useful. Nobody is using what they're doing. When suddenly people start to use it, it creates this manic optimism. But really, if you look at AI historically, it is extremely challenging, and just about every prediction about where it's going to go in the near future turns out to be super over-optimistic. It is an extremely challenging field, and in a field that challenging, you do not want uniformity of paradigm in research. You need to have a lot of different approaches to the subject because, well, it's evolutionary, right? In a complex situation, you need to try out a lot of different things and see how they work. And the centralization of artificial intelligence into computer science is a natural kind of thing. It's the way the academic business works, right? You concentrate in various kinds of ways, but in some ways it's been unhealthy for AI because it's narrowing the paradigm and the education of people. If you compare the very, very different backgrounds of the first generation people in artificial intelligence, the people at the Dartmouth conference, for instance, who were so influential with the current state of affairs, you see much more uniformity, and that's been imposed by the computer science education. ISP is different there. One of the things that I thought was most important in the early days of the program is that we were giving opportunities for people who didn't have graduate degrees in computer science to actually do work in artificial intelligence. The other thing we were doing, well, people talk about interdisciplinarity. I got the impression, all my life I've been interdisciplinary really, but I got the impression that it's mainly a word that administrators use, and in practice, I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Every administrator will say this, but in practice, the institution is working against it all the time because you're rewarded by concentrating on a certain specialty. That's the way the system works. So, but let's talk about interfaces. If AI is going to be useful and successful, it really needs to have interfaces with other areas that are using artificial intelligence. And the fact that our program started with very strong interfaces to medicine, law, education, and psychology was unique. And I think it created a point in the space of research and training in this particular field, which was different. And I'm saying we need that kind of difference in a subject that is so hard as artificial intelligence. I wish there were more programs like it, but I'm so glad to see so many people here and to see it flourishing. It's important, and I'm very pleased.